Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the former leader of the Sinaloa Cartel, was one of the most infamous drug lords in the world. Nonetheless, during Guzman's 2018 trial, his defenders alleged that he was the victim of a plot by the cartel's genuine boss, Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garza. Although hundreds of thousands of pages of evidence revealed that Guzman was in fact the snake's head, the murky operations of Zambada remain mostly unknown. El Mayo gained control of the Sinaloa Cartel following El Chapo's arrest, and he remains at large to this day. Who is Ismael El Mayo Zambada? The question has not only persisted, but grown. Where is he currently? How did Zambada, at 72 years old, take control of a drug trafficking enterprise while remaining unseen? Who is Ismael Zambada? Ismael Zambada Garcia, born in 1948 in the village of Yamo in the state capital of Sinaloa, Culiacan, Mexico, was always an aspiring criminal. At the age of 16, the impoverished farmer began distributing drugs. While he began modestly, he gradually ascended the ranks. Before long, he was associated with the Guadalajara Cartel, a significant organization that dominated the 1980s drug trade. Once upon a time, the cartel controlled nearly all drug trafficking between Mexico and the United States. After the capture of El Padrino, or the Godfather, founder Miguel Felix Gallardo, however, everything changed. In 1989, American authorities caught Gallardo and sentenced him to 40 years in jail for the murder of a DEA agent. He was resentenced to 37 years in prison in 2017 after serving 27 years of his original sentence. While this was unquestionably a win for law enforcement, Gallardo's demise provoked violence among the drug lords, left without one of their most influential commanders. It also fragmented the once powerful cartel into many factions, the most notorious of which being the Sinaloa Cartel. El Chapo and El Mayo are credited with constructing the Sinaloa Cartel in the early 1990s from the ruins of the Guadalajara Cartel. Decades of unfathomable violence, intimidation, and illicit drug trafficking throughout the globe have enabled the Sinaloa Cartel to become a multi-billion-dollar operation. The creator of the Sinaloan journal Rio Doce, Javier Valdez, stated that Zambada controls the Sinaloan police. It is evident that Ismael Zambada's power has increased over time. The Sinaloa Cartel's violent ascent. Each year, the Sinaloa Cartel ships and distributes wholesale quantities of methamphetamine, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl to the United States. It operates distribution centers in numerous cities, including Phoenix, Los Angeles, Denver, Atlanta, and Chicago. After attaining supplies from origins including Panama and Colombia, the cartel transfers the goods to the United States. Typically, the distribution of illegal drugs occurs at border crossings along Mexico's border. This comprises vehicles such as trucks, submarines, and aircraft, as well as tunnel systems. Once the commodities have been transported securely to the United States, the distribution facilities take over. Zambada's aptitude in building alliances with former members of the Guadalajara Cartel was partly responsible for the cartel's major rise to dominance in the 1990s. He was quite competent at coordinating illicit activities with other influential players in the industry. Obviously, controlling territory and accumulating increasing portions of the proverbial pie requires a merciless disregard for bloodshed, which Zambada possessed. According to the United States Department of State, he was a key member of the vicious Amado Carrillo Fuentes organization, also known as the Juarez Cartel. Zambada collaborated with Fuentes for several years until Fuentes' death in 1997, at which point Zambada integrated Fuentes' groups into the Sinaloa Cartel. This consolidation was not voluntary in any way. Rosario Niebla Cardoza, Zambada's widow, stated, "From 1992 to 2000, the days were rough and bloody, and there were a stupid, useless war in which many families were shattered and there was a great deal of heartache." Zambada's prominent leadership position within the Sinaloa Cartel during this period undoubtedly did not assist the situation. While El Chapo was incarcerated from 1993 to 2001, El Mayo oversaw the expansion of the Sinaloa Cartel. El Mayo also dispatched a private chopper to El Chapo following his escape from Puente Grande. It is hardly surprising that El Mayo has been attributed with El Chapo's rise after his prison break. The State Department stated that Zambada Garcia emerged as one of Mexico's most powerful drug traffickers in the late 1990s, capable of moving multi-ton quantities of cocaine, marijuana, and heroin. Although Mexico's Attorney General Office and the FBI indicted him for drug trafficking offenses in 1998 and 2003 respectively, Zambada just vanished. He is still at large as of the present. The mysterious disappearance of El Mayo. Zambada, a wanted man since 1998, advanced under El Chapo until the drug lord's arrest in 2016. his third capture after a second prison break, while El Chapo remains incarcerated. El Mayo is at large. In the meantime, the US government is offering a $5 million reward to anyone who provides information leading to Zambada's apprehension. The 2009 US indictment against Zambada stated that the unemployed sicarios are hitmen who carried out hundreds of acts of violence at their discretion, including killings, kidnappings, tortures, and brutal debt collection. In the 2000s, however, Mexican President Felipe Calderón focused mostly on a different organization, the Tijuana Cartel. As a result, the Sinaloa Cartel took advantage of its rival's weakness and aggressively advanced into its borders. In consequence, the Tijuana Cartel has mostly disintegrated over the past decade, leaving the Sinaloa Cartel atop the figurative mountain with an estimated $20 billion in assets. As Zambada remains at large, it is thought that he's still in control of the situation. Following El Chapo's imprisonment, a brand new conflict sprang out. Three contingents grew to prominence: the Damaso Lopez Nunez, who helped El Chapo escape from prison twice, El Chapo's sons Jesus Alfredo and Ivan Archibaldo, and El Chapo's brother Ariano El Guano Guzman. 764 killings were committed in Sinaloa alone in the first half of 2017 as a result of the ensuing violence. It has represented the state's highest homicide rate in 6 years. The editor of the local publication Espejo, Alejandro Sicarios, summarized the situation as follows: "It is fear. The term for what is occurring in Sinaloa is widespread fear. This has not been an ordinary gunfight. They are coming with all they have: large caliber guns, complete arsenals, and artillery mounted on vehicles.